What's up, enthusiasts? Today we're looking at this year's smaller entry to the rival line, the Atlas. Calling it small is relative though. This is still a meaty blaster with a solid feel. The packaging is exactly what you'd expect for a rival blaster, sticking in line with the Chaos release as well. Inside, you're getting the Atlas blaster, one 12-round magazine, 24 rounds, and the instructions. I'm just gonna come right out and say it, this blaster is a lot of fun. And Hasbro has upped their game in the aesthetics department this year for the rival line, because this blaster looks sweet just like the Chaos. The Atlas has nice lines and angles, making it feel streamlined, but still looking like a hefty shotgun blaster that has substance to it. I really hope they continue with this sort of aesthetic quality for future rival blasters. We unfortunately still only have paint on one side, but I don't think that'll be changing anytime soon, no matter how much we complain about it. Since this is a shotgun priming blaster that shoots 2 rounds at once, I originally was hoping it would have 2 magazines side by side with 2 functional barrels. However, after having this in hand, the streamlined and thin look is fantastic and would have been ruined by having a double wide magazine well. So kudos to Hasbro for the design choice on this one. Loading the magazine is easier than both the Chaos and the Zeus, but it's not perfect. The magazine can get caught while sliding in, or not quite seat properly and release a bunch of rounds into the magazine well that you then have to clear out before reseating the magazine. This is my biggest gripe with the blaster though, and it's something I feel with practice will become less of an issue, but it is still an issue to be aware of. One other small gripe I have is that while the handle is generally comfortable and well sized, the trigger guard does place a fair amount of pressure on your middle finger if you hold the blaster with one hand. This won't always be an issue as you'll generally have your other hand on the priming grip to support, but a lot of people do prime a blaster then switch to one hand to shoot it. On the function front, this blaster is definitely interesting. It uses a tube to pull 2 rounds from the magazine when you prime back, then when you bring the prime forward, the tube shifts downward to load the rounds to be fired. This is a super cool system, and has already led to some quick mods from others like Zombona to increase performance. In stock form though, the box advertises 80 FPS. I can't accurately measure FPS when firing 2 rounds, so I had to load 1 round at a time, and when shooting a single round, it obliterates that claim, hitting over 100 FPS at times. It should be noted however the FPS spread was fairly wide, with the difference between high and low being around 30 FPS, which is significant. This variation might not be as extreme when 2 rounds are loaded however, so don't take those numbers as gospel. It's also not too surprising to see numbers that high as the blaster does need to shoot 2 rounds at once. Something I was curious about was how the 2 rounds would be in terms of groupings while fired, so I measured out 40 feet from my editing room door and emptied 5 mags at the door to see how well the rounds stayed together. I was pleasantly surprised. I expected the rounds to deviate from each other by a fair amount at that range, but for the most part, they stayed within a reasonable range of each other that would make the shot harder to dodge by a person in a game. Now you aren't going to get the range you'd get from other rival blasters because of the 2 rounds per shot, so you'll see a drop off much earlier as well, but for the shotgun style blaster, I'm fine with that. This will be a great blaster for tight spaces and close ranges. This is a blaster I expected to be more of a gimmick than a solid performer, and I'm so happy I was wrong. Where I had issues that put me on the fence with the Chaos, I'm firmly in the buy camp for this $40 blaster. It's a solid blaster that performs well, feels great, and looks awesome. Well worth buying in my opinion. Now I wouldn't have minded seeing it a little cheaper as an entry-level blaster, but as long as the Apollo is readily available, I'm not too upset by this, and am very happy with this purchase. Those are my thoughts on the Atlas. I'm having a lot of fun with it. You know I want to hear your thoughts on it though. Do you like the shotgun style blaster? Are you planning on singling yours when you get one? Or do you like the 2 rounds per shot? Let me know in the comments, and if you're new to the channel and enjoyed the video, feel free to hit that subscribe button for more in the future. I'd love to see you around. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have fun flinging foam, and I'll see you next time.